Hello there and welcome along to a tutorial as to how you go about updating a Meet database. The first thing to do is to open the previous year's database. So if I go to where the databases are stored, and I'm going to work on the fireworks Meet. So let's load that up now. The first thing to do is just to save it so that it corresponds to the year of the Meet that you're setting up. So as you can see, I'm just saving that to 2024. Then you need to go to File and Purge and remove data selectively. Click Entries and Results and Athletes and Relays there. You can leave the teams in there. There's a handful of teams. It's slightly easier for the Meet promoter to just refer to those teams that are correctly set up with their abbreviated versions of their names. Click OK, click OK again, and we are up and running. So as the message says, since entries have been deleted, you may need to change the Meet name and date, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So it's normally quite a straightforward process from here. We just need to change the dates. The venue doesn't typically change, so we will be changing the date to the 2nd of the 11th 24, and it finishes, or day 2 is the 3rd, that's Sunday the 3rd, and the age update has to match the 2nd day, the last day of the Meet. Obviously in some cases it is just one day. The entry open date, well that can be essentially the date that you're updating the database now, and we have an entry deadline, which is normally the responsibility of the Meet promoter. So I'm just referring to the entry pack that's been provided to me by the Meet promoter, and I'm going to enter in the 11th of October, 2024. Everything else looks alright. We'll be using the most up-to-date DQ codes. It's obviously short course, be a standard Meet. You've got all the details of the pool there as well, which as I say doesn't often change. So click OK. Now what we want to do is we want to spread the word about the fact that we have an up and coming Meet. So Meet Mobile Publishing is where we go now. We can change the on the first tab under Settings, just click Full Meet Data, Free Heat Sheets, that's what you want. You then need to go to the Terms of Use, just tap in your name, and I'm going to put in my date of birth here, and then click Agree. Then you click Confirm, and then OK, and then you go to the normally we have male, female and combined, so we can use that as a default, set that there, publish the Meet Mobile general information. That then gets uploaded, and of course at this time we haven't got any entries, so we don't need to do the step 3, which is down here, Cycle Sheet and Heat Sheet settings. There's nothing to publish obviously at the moment because we have no entries. What I'm going to do now, I'm back on the main menu screen now. I'm just going to check that the start times that are indicated in the entry pack correlate to what was in the database before. That sometimes gets updated. So to do that, you need to go to Events at the top menu there, Sessions. That's essentially when we're starting up. And sorting out the events. So we can see here that Saturday morning is set to start at 9:05 in the previous year's database. Well, that's been changed to 8:50, so we just changed that there. The second session is likely to start at 11:50 AM. We change that there. The third session is indicated to start at 2:50 p.m. Well, that's as it already is set. And then for day 2, exactly the same. Just copying that across again. So 8:50 for session 4 on day 2, and then we've got an indicative time of 11:50 a.m. for session 5. And once again 2:50 for the final session, which is as it was set in the database before. Just a point about that, when the final times are confirmed, you might just need to change that in the database to reflect the meet promoters' final timings, which obviously reflect the final bundle of entries, and then publish that again as we did earlier through the setup and Meet Mobile. That will send obviously the updated times and information to the Meet Mobile app. Just an initial point on the setup of the Meet. When it comes to the events, it's worth just noting that in case event orders or session orders change over, you can obviously double click the events and change these around. You can change the numbers, you can renumber the events, so you don't actually have to necessarily edit the events. You can just reorder them, but it is important, if that does happen in a meet, then you need to look at the sessions again to make sure that the right events are assigned to the correct session. So we should have a full block of yellow events, but they must also tally with the numbers. As you can see there, for example, session 6 is showing events 601 to 605, and session 1, for example, is 101 to 106. A further point to make with the events is just in connection with the age groups. So if I double click this event from a Club Championships database, you'll see in this box here there are 2 references to age groups. The multi-age group is a split in terms of the years. These correlate to the age groups that we swim the particular events for. So we're starting with 8 and under and finishing up with 15 and over. And here the multi-age group extra essentially captures all of the swimmers taking part in this particular event, and that is useful for calculating the overall trophy winner for a particular event. So at the Club Championships, for example, if you need to work out very quickly as to who the overall fastest swimmer is of the 100 meters freestyle, then in your printed results there will be a final age category that prints off everyone else's results across the ages regardless of age, and at the top will of course be the trophy winner. Just in connection with updating the events, so you do need to be aware on certain meets at the time of videoing this. This is particularly relevant for the Super Sunday Sprint Meet and the Club Championships, but under events there is another option for combined events, and this is where you have a setup for multiple events that are used to produce results. So for example, in the Super Sunday Sprint Meet there is the presentation of medals once all swimmers have competed in all 4 50-meter events, and this helps calculate the table of results that will help produce the fastest overall sprinters in each of the age categories that are set up as per the events. So it's just essential, I think, if you're changing the events order in any way, that it's worth going into this section just to double check that all the events that you're expecting to make up the quadathlon in this particular example are correct. And as you can see, if we zoom through the various age groups and genders, there are 4 events tied to each of the age group and genders, so that is all looking correct. I'm now heading to the equivalent screen for the Club Championships database, and just to show you here a very similar exercise basically for the sprints championships. All of the 50 meters from the various age groups have been tied together. And then we get to the pentathlon, which for the club champs is a way of calculating the fastest improver. So the boy and girl progress cups are awarded at the presentation evening on the back of these results. So you will see, you should expect to see 5 events that make up these pentathlon events, and that's all 5 100 meters. And you produce a report from the previous year's database, and you produce a report from the current year's database. You compare the two to see which swimmers have actually competed in all 5 of those 100 meter events, and then you have to then manually sort out as to which ones have improved the most, having competed in all 5 events across the 2 years. Just one point that does sometimes change as well is the cost of the event. So in this old database they're set at £5.50, but if they do need to go up, then you can go to setup options and you can change that setting here. Just like that. And then if you go back to the list of events, you should be able to see that every event has changed to £6 in terms of its entry fee. On the topic of fees, one thing else to be aware of is under setup and entry fee surcharges. Here, for example, this is the Super Sunday Sprint meet when at the time of recording this we charge each athlete an overall fee of £16 for the 4 races, the 4 50-metre races. There's also an additional 50p surcharge which helps to pay for the online payment method. There's also under the second row we tend to input the team surcharge, so this is essentially the equivalent of a single coach's pass, which in this case is £15. So you can update that and click OK, and that will be imported into the relevant swimming club's swimming management system. There will also be circumstances when you will need to reel off a points report for the individual swimmers. For this part I'm using the previous year's club championships because that holds results. In the memorised reports section you'll find that there is an age group championship points report saved. You can open that up and then you highlight the events that are relevant to make up that points report. That might vary from year to year. Again, that should be set out in the conditions of the particular meet, so you can just select all of the, for example, the female 100 meter events to provide a total amount of points. So just click create report and go from there. Okay, so that's it. Back to file export. We're now just going to export the electronic entry file. I changed this to including the qualifying times for SCM only, which is short course meters only. I then allow for conversions of long course meters. Obviously we don't have to worry about yards these days, and then I click OK there. That's my default saving place for files like this. It will be obviously different for your own PC. Click OK. That's where the entry file has landed. So we move on to the next stage of the tutorial now, which looks to upload the entry file into SwimClub Manager, and that will automatically publish the entry file on our website, enabling other clubs to find it, download it and import the events into their own swimming software. So if we go via the dashboard, club and documents, and then we can scroll down to meets. It's very important to say here that for those links that are enabling other clubs to use via our website, we should always look to just update the files rather than actually delete or upload new documents, because then there's another process to go through in terms of actually editing the web page so that you can actually download alternative files. So what I mean by that is, if we go to entry resources here, you'll see that there is only a list of the latest entry files, I have already done the Fireworks Weekend meet for 2014, but essentially the process is I would have clicked the 2023 version, and then you click the replace document button here and upload the most recent version, and it will just update the file name, but crucially it will preserve the link on our website. So if you're just updating the files rather than actually deleting the old ones and uploading new ones, and that, as I said, would help to preserve the web links, and we can see that from the EDSC Meet Details page. If I just download that file now, you can see in the top right there the correct file has downloaded. Now we need to also upload the Meet database. That's to enable the Meet promoter to start importing the entries into the database in advance of the Meet. So on this occasion you will be adding a new file. So if we just go to add document, and you'll see there's a Meet Manager databases option there. Wherever we saved that database, there it is there. Upload the database there, and that's that. Finally, we need to add an event to SwimClub Manager. This is for the sake of our club only. So if you go to add event, select meet type, well that's a Hy-Tek style meet, it's an open meet, it's going to be a licensed meet, it will be level 3. We then choose the Hy-Tek meet file, that, if you remember wherever that was saved, we've got it there. You can add meet, and then it will use some of that data in that file to generate this next screen, including obviously the map as to where the pool is. From here I would recommend that you click edit meet from here. We can scroll down, there's a facility here to add the host web page link. Well, that's the meet details page, so we can copy and paste that into that field there. Then as I scroll down, I tend to have the event set as red for the club calendar for the website, just to sort of make it a bit clearer as to when that event is. Then if you scroll down here, we need to force direct debit collection. That's very important, so we can automatically take the entries from the swimmers. The member entry deadline, that can be to match the entry deadline for the meet, which on this occasion it was the 11th of October 2024. The meet promoter can obviously choose to change that if entries are starting to fill up. The rest is all good, so we can click update meet, and that is that.